Today, we're in Lyme Regis, visiting one of my favourite parts of Britain, the Jurassic Coast. It's a very short trip. We just happened to be down this way and thought we'd share a little spot in Lyme Regis, the Ammonite Pavement, which I've been wanting to go to for ages, and finally was sort of close. So had a chance to pop down here, and you can see straight away, as soon as we get here, there's the first Ammonite, and there's a stone pavement at the bottom of some sedimentary cliffs which are constantly eroding, and you can see a selection of stones and slabs thrown around on the beach. As you walk along, it doesn't take long to see Ammonite. It's particularly sea creatures. Now you can find more exotic fossils, but realistically it's Ammonites, and if you're a little bit lucky, maybe Orthoceras, which is the long shell with the little tendrils sticking out. But mainly here we're looking at Ammonite, and you can see the variety of Ammonite. Every few seconds you spot a stone with an interesting little fossil on. Probably the most fossils I've seen in one place. And it's only a 10-minute walk from the car park if you're lucky to get the car park near the bay back there, just at the end of those cliffs. There's a car park at the boat club. And here's the cliffs that a lot of it comes off. It is best to stay a little bit clear of those cliffs because you see those piles there. Those are recent falls. At this end, it's very much sedimentary, sort of mixture of clay-like soil and bit of peaty, and some very much like shale. So a mix of different sediments, and some comes out looking like tar and breaks apart. Here's another set of Ammonite. They do ask you not to carry away the large ones, but the smaller ones you're welcome to. My advice would be do what I didn't do because I was not knowing I was going to come here. I didn't bring a hammer of any sort. But ideally, you want to find one of those rounded stones and tap it from the side to break it on the sedimentary boundary. This area really is what's called the pavement. It is like a large slab of concrete, irregularly broken and thrown at different angles, with ripples in the surface. And you can see all of these stones. Probably most don't have ammonites in, but a lot of them are very good candidates for breaking open. And while we were here, I'd say I was the only person who didn't have a hammer, because everybody here was having a little search for their own ammonite to take home. And really, Lyme Regis was made famous because of the fossils. This whole stretch, this is effectively the western end of the Jurassic Coast that runs all the way down past Weymouth and Durdle Door. And here was where Mary Anning lived. Mary Anning was a remarkable lady. There's a very good book, if you get the chance to read it, Dragon Seekers. She was a uneducated, average, everyday woman, very much in a man's world. This was an age where women couldn't go to university and certainly weren't expected to understand fossils. But she lived in Lyme Regis, she started finding fossils, and she made her living finding and selling fossils. If you go to the Natural History Museum in London, some of the finest examples of ichthyosaurs in particular are actually found by Mary Anning along this stretch of coast. So there is still the chance of finding something more exotic than an ammonite, but don't come here expecting it. One of the things that's really fascinating reading the Dragon Seekers is how Mary Anning not just discovered a lot of the best fossils, but also had an understanding of the anatomy, a thought process where she could understand what they actually looked like and interpret the fossils, which at first was rather poo-pooed and looked down on by the academics, who were mainly men of God, and they struggled with fossils somewhat because obviously the world had a predefined age, and from that age they couldn't be fossils from before humanity. But she interpreted how the parts fit together, and that was actually some of the basis of the early work on fossils. If you get a chance to go to Crystal Palace, the only thing really left of the Crystal Palace exhibition is the dinosaurs, concrete dinosaurs, interpretations of what dinosaurs looked like from the Victorian mind. And I can tell you it's a bit weird. They're not how we think dinosaurs look. And our interpretation, probably Jurassic Park, isn't particularly accurate on a lot of them, but they were rather cartoonish. And Mary Anning really helped deeply in the understanding of how they look. And today, you come to Lyme Regis and you can't but help think of Mary Anning and her contribution to paleontology. And don't forget that hammer. I think I really enjoyed my visit here. I don't know why I didn't come before. And I don't know why I didn't have a hammer in the car. Maybe that's a bad idea, carrying a hammer around in the car. But please do like and subscribe and join us for more Unbound Histories on Saturdays, museum tours on Mondays, and walks on Wednesdays. And we also have occasional short videos like this one about the Ammonite pavement. So look forward to seeing you soon.